Yo, what's up? Good morning. My name is Patrouski, and recently I did a challenge starting at the beginning of October with 0 Pokeyen, making up to 20 million Pokeyen within around 24 days. The challenge was to do it within less than 30, and I really wanted to use this time and video to speak on what I learned throughout that process. Obviously, I've had tons of Pokeyen in the past, and I've made more Pokeyen than that in different time frames in the past, but making it from scratch is a big difference, and I feel like that's the average player experience, obviously. Most players in this game are new. Most players in this game are casual. Most players don't have 10, 20 million Pokeyen to make more Pokeyen. And the fact of the matter is, in PokeMMO, the rich do get richer. That is something that you have to kind of face the facts of. It sucks, I know. What are you going to do? More Pokeyen and more capital equals more access to make more Pokeyen, and you really start snowballing. But the beauty of that is, I do think that anybody can get rich in PokeMMO if you put in the time and effort, which is pretty cool, and not always the case in other games or other places. I think in PokeMMO, we have a unique situation where you can earn pure yen pretty consistently and daily, even as a new player. And I want to talk about those methods and talk about just the things that I learned for the average player. If you're a new player, average player, intermediate level player trying to make Pokeyen, or a veteran player trying to hear the perspective, hopefully there's something for you in this video. And if you enjoyed, just make sure to like it and subscribe. But let's go ahead and jump into what I want to talk about. Number one, something I learned is I should be recommending trainer reruns to beginner players way more. Like, way more. I think I vehemently underestimated trainer reruns for beginners and intermediate players. Now, I do think that gym reruns are better overall as a method. The difference is a gym rerun you can do every 18 hours, and you can make around 300 to 400k depending on your run. And then trainer reruns you can make around 200 to 250k per hour. Maybe there's some that make more, but on average 200 to 250k per hour. You can do those every 6 hours, and they're both pure yen, which is super nice. And there is a massive difference as a newer player, as a player trying to build your capital, right? If you can do 2 trainer reruns, even though it takes 2 hours, within, or even 3 within 1 day, 2 or 3, you can do 2 within 1 day, right? Probably do 3 within 1 day. If you could do like 2 or 3 within 1 day, that represents 400 to 600k pure yen in your pocket, in your bank account, right? Versus a gym rerun, obviously you make more yen in less time, but you have to wait 18 hours for the reset. And I think as a new player, being able to just get that pure yen every 6 hours, and only needing, the biggest thing as well is with a gym rerun team, you need like a few regions done, usually at least 2 or 3 or hopefully 4. And you need like a few Pokemon, Double Typhlosion, Cottony Torkoal. It's around 300k, maybe 400k to make a gym rerun team nowadays at the cheapest point. But for a trainer rerun, you only need 1 Pokemon. You need a Cloyster with Steel Link and Icicle Spear, and that's pretty much it. Backup stuff is nice, but you need 1 Pokemon and really just 1 region done with Sinnoh. Now, having other ones done like Unova and Kanto helps, but you really just need Sinnoh. You can do most of the run with just Sinnoh. So a 1 Pokemon, 1 region requirement for 200k plus pure yen every 6 hours is just invaluable to a new player trying to develop capital, trying to earn that cash stack up. And once again, like, the biggest thing is when you're new, you want to get that pure yen up so that you can use it to make more yen. That's the big thing. You can't really do the 400k, 600k per hour. You can't really do breeding for profit. You can't really do flipping. You can't do these big money making methods when you don't have the capital to spare to actually put into those methods, right? Can't really spend money to make money if you don't have the money to spend. It's really that easy. I think trainer reruns are so good for beginners and intermediate players. And I wouldn't recommend them to like veterans, or like if you have like over a certain amount of wealth, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you need a bit of pure yen in a short time frame, I was really blown away about how nice trainer reruns are. I usually just recommend gym reruns to new players, but the 1 Pokemon, 1 region requirement for trainer runs really surprised me. It's even easier than getting into for gym reruns, which is super, super nice. So that's number 1. That's the big thing. Number 2, doing the same thing every day. This is also a lot of this is going to be personal preference and opinion. Not all of this is objective fact, so just take it all with a grain of salt and take what information helps you. Doing the same thing every single day, especially if it's something like money making or something you don't really like, it's not your favorite thing to do in the game, man, does it kill the enjoyment of the game. Especially if it's for multiple hours. That's the big thing I've learned. I don't mind waking up, doing a gym rerun, and then bam, boom, that's my money making out of the way. And now I can just like shiny hunt or do whatever I want to do, right? I like that. That's fine. 1 hour a day of sort of getting your chores out of the way in PokeMMO. It's an MMO. To some extent, it's going to be a job-ish to some people. You don't have to play it like that, obviously, but if you want to be efficient, it can be a little job-like. I get that, right? That's the reality. Waking up and doing 1 hour of gym reruns or a trainer run, that's fine. The problem is when you're waking up and you're doing a gym run on a main account, berry farming, a trainer rerun, hopping to an alt account, and then doing like berry farming and gym rerunning over there. That's where this becomes pretty painful very quickly. When you're doing more than 1 hour of just really painful grinds like this. And it's funny, obviously, because I could sit here and shiny hunt all day. But I don't know, shiny hunting is something that I genuinely enjoy the most. Maybe if you just genuinely love the feeling of efficiently making Pokeyen, it's not as bad for you. I like shiny hunting. Obviously, I don't like shiny hunting all the time, but it's good to take breaks and do other things. But man, being forced to, especially like being forced into just a specific style of content. I think a big mistake that I made was doing 2 months of shiny wars, right? 2 months of official shiny wars. So I had to shiny hunt every single day for 10 hours, right? And then transitioning into a self-imposed challenge. I was like, okay, well, now I have to make Pokeyen for 4 to 6 hours a day. So I went from, okay, all I can do in the game is shiny hunt to all I can do in the game is make Pokeyen. And that was a big mistake. I honestly, I thought it'd be fun because, I was going off of so much shiny hunting. So it'd be nice to mix it up with money making, but that mix it up didn't last too long. You don't want to, I don't recommend restricting yourself to one style of play like that. It's obviously personal preference. In my opinion, the most fun I have playing PokeMMO is when I wake up, do a gym rerun, do some shiny hunting, take a break, do some breeding for profit, throw up a randoms PvP game. Like, engaging with a little bit of each part of the game is what I enjoy. Like just jumping around activities, kind of steel hopping is the RuneScape term. But yeah, I definitely, doing more than 1 hour of just money grinding really killed the enjoyment of the game for me a fair bit, especially like long term. I could do it for like 3 hours a day or even 10 hours a day short term. Not a month was not fun. A month was not great, but that's not, it's not always supposed to be fun. It's supposed to show you guys you can do it with the right. If you come back to the game October 1st and you want to prepare for event season, you can do it within 30 days. It'll be tough, but you can do it. Only playing, quote unquote only, but playing 4 to 6 hours a day, which I think is at least doable for the average person if they want to sacrifice other things to be able to do that. It wouldn't come without sacrifice. I also realize in terms of making money, it is so much harder to make money right before event season because most players are saving their money to make investments and to play the event. So Pokemon sales are much slower than normal, which makes a lot of methods less effective. The big takeaway here is prepare ahead of time in PokeMMO. If you wait and you delay and you wait until you have to make Pokeyen right before the Halloween event, that was some of the hardest Pokeyen I've had to make, and I still was fortunate enough to make 20 mil in 24 days, but it was so much tougher than if I had just made Pokeyen in like August or in like September or in like a few months prior, right? The fact that I waited until right before everybody's saving their Pokeyen, it's really it was a big mistake. So that's the point of the challenge, I guess, to show you can do it, but it's still so much harder. I cannot recommend you guys enough. Don't wait until last minute to start making Pokeyen for event season. I would start prepping a few months in advance. PokeMMO is such a game that rewards long-term planning, even just being like a few months in advance, just like that quote-unquote long-term planning. And then it really rewards that long-term planning and consistency. So yeah, doing that during that month before, it was so much harder. It made so many more methods, like catching Pokemon for profit, breeding for profit, so many things, just way less effective. It is, however, very fun, and it puts a fire under my butt to put a time frame window on when I need to achieve something. It makes it way more stressful, but the feeling of accomplishment is much higher as well. This is like just a recommendation / tip for you guys. Maybe consider putting a time limit on something. Maybe consider, hey, I want to make 20 mil in 30 days or 10 mil in 30 days or 1 mil in 10 days, like whatever your goal is. I think it's cool to set some, or even like maybe like hours played. You could do, I want to achieve 20 mil by 1,000 hours played or something like that, right? I think sometimes a time frame window and setting a time limit on something can be a lot helpful at helping you achieve your goals. Next thing, is that we really, and this is a, all of us kind of have this problem. I have this problem. We overstress about how much pure yen we need when we usually have more capital than we realize. And what I mean by that is people's accounts, if you just play PokeMMO, if you just play the game for fun, don't even worry about making Pokeyen, you will make Pokeyen. Like, if you just have fun and just play the game, do whatever, like, it really does passively, as long as you put time and effort into the game, it really do passively. It's hard to play this game. It's hard to put time into it and not make progress. It's difficult to do that. So we don't realize how much net worth and value our accounts have. We look in our boxes, we see catching Breloons and Smeargles and Parasacs and Spirit Tombs or whatever, right? And we think of it as nothing, but that's all worth a fair bit of Pokeyen. And the honest answer is you've probably done a lot more work than you realize, and you've probably made a lot more progress than you realize, and you're doing a lot better than it feels just by looking at your pure Pokeyen stack. Things like Ditto boxes, things like Pokeballs that you have in your your boxes, items floating around in your bag. If you put your time and energy into PokeMMO, you will always get something in return. It's easy to not get the full picture when stuff isn't selling as quickly as we'd like, but just remember to relax as much as you can. PokeMMO is a marathon, not a sprint. So just try not to worry too much about that pure Pokeyen stack. The flexibility is nice, but it's not the end all be all of your account. It's not the, that's the value of my account and that's it. Final point is a little more of a specific money making method, I guess, kind of similar to trainer reruns. Turn back cave plus, well, it's unfortunate now because selling data has actually been paused because so many people, there was so much attention drawn from my video to the Archaeologist on Anonymous Discord that Shamo could not keep up with the payments. I might even try to work something out there because that's really unfortunate. I love him so much for that, and I love the Archaeologist Anonymous Discord. I feel bad. I feel a little guilty because I didn't mean to, like, for that to happen, but hopefully to some extent it's a good thing and they just got as much data as they needed for now and then they can kind of restart in the future. But that's not the point of this comment. The point of this is that turn back cave fossil farming is plus selling data and pursuing community money making methods are game changing. PokeMMO is an MMO, and being social equals success. Building connections and contacts is insane in PokeMMO. It is so underrated and under talked about. Whether it's Ditto box sellers / buyers, data buyers, poke brokers, or friends that will help you with alpha calls or lend you PvP Pokemon for tournaments, etc. Plus, you know what? Sometimes making lifelong friends in PokeMMO was the real progress all along. So maybe that was actually the real best thing. But yeah, making friends in PokeMMO, having contacts, having people you can talk to, it's a great way to, like, get involved in the higher level community as well. Like, I really think that if you want to, like, try to get into a good team, start learning about the game, just get, like, inside tips and tricks. Like, a lot of teams are a little more private about methods when things like the Halloween event boss drops. Like, I really think being in a team in PokeMMO is, like, crucial. I think if you want to be a serious player, you almost need to be in a team. If you're, more of a solo guy, more power to you. But I think being in a team is super, super good and super fun and powerful. But yeah, I really feel like as a new player, selling Ditto boxes to some of those more veteran type players is a great way to just meet people and understand things and learn things and try to, just be a fast trader, be respectful to them, and they'll take note of that. I think a lot of veteran players remember the name, like I do. We really remember the names of good Ditto box sellers. Like, it really sticks out to us. We really appreciate that speed, etc. I think the case with, like, fossil running as well, which is a new tactic that sort of popped up recently for new players, but, like, that'll probably come back next Shiny Wars, but that's for another video. Thank you guys for watching. That's pretty much it. I think I covered everything. Hopefully you enjoyed this little ramble, this little talking of money making method in Pokemon, money making methods in PokeMMO, money making strategy, the mental behind it, and just things I learned sort of going through the average player's experience, or maybe above average. Like, if you're making 20 mil in 30 days, I'd say you're above average player. I think that's amazing, I think anybody can do it, but it's going to take some sacrifice in terms of time, for sure. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like it if you did, dislike it if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. Follow me on Twitch for streams, usually Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below. And if you want to go above me on support the channel, YouTube memberships, Twitch primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal/Venmo donations are really the best way to do it, and it allows me to be here. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and just enjoy PokeMMO. This game is pretty damn good if you ask me.